But so, you know, and I've spoken at length with Brian, and he talked about, you know, how the music and everything. But when you guys were recording some of the songs, did you notice that, oh, okay, this sounds good. It sounds different than what was on the radio, and that we could actually, you know, make a dent? Or did you just, what was it like?
Well, first of all, I think every song, when you already know what song you're gonna record when you hear it. When Brian's songs were brought to us, it was just like magic. One thing you cannot take from that brother is that, yo, Brian is talented. And back then, I think he was doing a lot of club stuff and house music, because he loves house music. Like, he's a connoisseur. And to see how he can do a house track and then transition into like this deep R&B stuff, I was like, wow. You know, because usually producers are just one way.
Yeah.
They can rate at this and that's it. But I mean, when we heard Brian's stuff, it was just like a no-brainer. It was magic. I mean, you can pretty much see.
Just as we go, Jay, if you could give me your top 5 favorite SWV tracks, what would they be?
Give It to Me. Oh. How go? You Are My Love. I like that one a lot. I got something. About Time? No, I don't know if you like that. Where is it? Okay. Coming Home. Love Is So Amazing. That's 4. And Love Like This.
Okay. I'm glad you didn't pick any of the mainstream ones and stuff, which is good. I think sometimes they can be fan favorites, but maybe not. Yeah, I mean, Coko, if you think about it, would you had 5? Would you then say, oh yeah, Weak and Brain and I'm So Into You? Would those be your 5, or what would you your 5?
None of my 5 are single. Well, I'm So Into You is one. When You Cry, You Are My Love. That's What I Need, and Fine Time. I really like the Fine Time as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and as I said, it's and it's pity you don't get to do those. Do you do them on the shows, or?
No, not really. No, I would love to, but you know, yeah.
It's my favorite always would be the. I grew up a massive Teddy Riley fan. I mean, that's how I got into my music. So when he did the remix for "I'm So Into You," you know, the one with Rex and Akil. Check 1, check 2. Oh goodness, I still play it out, you know, all the time. Yeah.
A&R guy, Kenny Ortiz, who's the man who found SWV, and Pharrell and the Neptunes. He was telling me, "Hey man, I got these girls. I can't get them arrested. I can't get them signed, man. I can't get them a deal." And this at the time when TLC had changed up their image and was now crazy, sexy, cool. You know, they were incredible. They went from that tomboy stuff to the hot women, right? Yeah. So, but SWV's look was kind of tomboyish and still hanging on to the, you know, Timbos and Jersey. You know, they were still kind of like Mary J-ing it out. You feel me?
Yeah.
It was 1991. So he said, "I can't get these girls arrested." But Kenny heard my voice and heard me singing and was like, "Yo, you are the guy that needs to work with these girls." And I just kind of shined him on. I was like, "Man, sign me as an artist. How about that?" You know? So I really wasn't letting him hear records on it at all, really. But then one day he was like, "Yo, man, listen to these girls." And so he sent me a FedEx, a cassette of them. And I remember hearing Coco's voice for the first time. And I was like, oh shit, like, wait a minute, this is some shit right here. I can work with this voice. She was kind of all over the place, and you could tell she wasn't being produced very well by whoever was producing her. She would be sharp on all these notes, and then they would just leave it. I was like, why did they leave that? But so I was like, the first thing I thought was, I'm going to have to get her under control. But I think under control, she's going to be amazing. That's the first thing I thought. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, well, you know what? I'll do it. Why not? Because they don't have a deal. If I get them a deal, I'll be the guy that's the main sound of these girls if I establish the sound. So that was my mindset going into it. Was like, well, they don't have a deal, and he's telling me that I can kind of have control over what I'm doing, so I'm going to do it. So I had this song called Right Here, which you know. Yeah. I gave them that. I did not give him Weak on purpose because I was still trying to get that on Charlie Wilson. So I did not play Weak for him at all. And we started recording. And then through a twist of fate, Kenny Ortiz was at a meeting in LA. And remember I told you I worked for Jay King in Sacramento, right? Yeah. Well, there was this guy that used to work there. He was the janitor, and he would clean up the building and shit. So he had stolen a tape that had my demo of Weak on it, me singing Weak, the whole thing.
He stole it, okay.
Stole the tape. And so this particular day, Kenny is at the office in LA, and he's walking through, and he hears Weak. And he never heard that before, but he heard my voice.
He knew it was you.
Because he knew my voice because of the Martha Wash demos. I did all the demos. Yeah. So he's like, and he went over to this guy, Jeff, who used to be a janitor at J. King's thing, but now is an A&R guy at RCA.
What?
Yes. He'd come up in the ranks. And so he goes, hold on, man. That sounds like Brian Alexander Morgan. And Jeff was like, that is Brian Alexander Morgan. So he's like, what is this? And so Kenny called me. He's like, yo, man, that's fucked up. You've been holding out on me. You know I'm trying to get these girls signed. Why haven't you played me this song? This is insane. I said, bro, because I'm trying to get that on Charlie Wilson, or I want to do it on myself. I'm not really trying to give that song away. He's like, Brian, please, you got to come back to mix a couple more Martha records. Can I just pay you to record that song? And I gave in and I said, all right, man. So I recorded it. And that's the song that got them the record deal with RCA.
Wow, but so he was there. He couldn't get them the deal that he worked there. He had to.
They weren't seeing it in as far as the imaging and the whole overall thing. Plus, they didn't have the songs yet. So now all of a sudden they got Right Here and Weak after I recorded it. Now they got some songs that showcase what she's all about.
Okay.
That cinched the deal.
So
that's how SWV started.
So, and I think that the thing is that so what year was it that they auditioned to get the deal at RCA?
Well, they never auditioned with me.
Oh, no.
I think they had tried to get the deal. Probably like 91. It had to be like 90, 91, somewhere around in there.
So it's just Mary that's out in that image. I mean, because 93 is when all the Jade and all the other groups. So there wasn't that many girl groups.
Jade is like 94. Jade is 94.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that it wasn't a case where all these other
only
groups were out.
Only TLC and En Vogue were like popping.
Yeah, but they were very different types of En Vogue. Was
totally different. So Mary J would be the only. You're right. Mary J would be their only measure of hip hop and soul for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. Hip hop soul was Mary J, and that was the only standard at that moment. Absolutely.
I can see why there might have been a pushback on. Look, that's not what's out there right now. So
right, because TLC was blowing the hell up with their new sound and their new look, and it was absolutely gorgeous. You know, they were like women. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, long story short, did that, and then I just started writing directly for them, and that's how I wrote "I'm So Into You."
Yeah. So the thing about that debut album was that I looked, and you did about 9. Out of the 14 songs, you did about 9 of them on it.
I think it's 7. But yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's a bonus. Yeah.
Oh, the bonus one that took it. There's a bonus one in there. But for you at that point in time, when you're writing for them, did you think, man, they're taking my spot? Did you? Because you're.
No, because I didn't have a spot. So at this point, I'm like, okay, the Martha stuff didn't work like I thought it was going to. Now I'm just going to go full on into developing this this group with the voice that I had in my hands. It was an amazing voice to work with coko, and then the girls themselves with their blend, it was awesome. When they sang together, they sound just like on the record. So it's like, this is easy. This is like easy. So that's kind of what happened. We just started working, and then they came to Sacramento, and that helped a lot because then I was in my own element. I wasn't in New York.
Yeah.
When I wrote "I'm Swimming to You," we recorded it in Sacramento even. So, and then we went back and recorded a week I recorded in New York and maybe right here. But I'm Swimming to You, and I think, what else? A couple other things got recorded in Sacramento. By the time we did You're Always on My Mind, we were back in New York again.
So when you did, so what was influencing the sound then? Because if you're talking about 91 or so, you had Uptown with Jodeci, Mary, with that type of sound. I think Teddy had sort of moved away from, I think, the Guy album. He was doing Michael Jackson stuff. So there seemed to have been a sort of I think Uptown was taking over with their hip hop, soul, and stuff with Kenny Green and intro.
Mm-hmm.
What was influencing the type of, not the writing, but the production of what you were doing for SWV?
At that time, I just decided I wanted to create my own sound and stop copying those types of sounds. And that's how you got I'm Swimming to You. The most un-New Jack Swing record ever. It's straight 16s. There's none of that at all. Okay? I took all that. I was like, I'm going to do me. So that, and then all my ballads, I wanted them to sound like me. So anything which opens the album is a shot across the bow saying there's a new sound happening. And it's not those other things. It's its own thing. It's a Midwest thing. It's not an East Coast thing. It's a Midwest boy. Wow.
Yeah.
That comes from Stevie and Charlie and all that stuff. And so, but I love, and it couldn't, right here, the first right here is the last bastion of that. That's kind of New Jack-ish.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But I knew that once they came to me and was in my home turf, I was trying to do me. I wasn't concerned with what was happening on the radio at that time. Because I was like,
you were in the Bay Area where Foster McClaren had their own influence with the Tonys and Vogue.
Sure.
So Tonys had, I think is it the Carnival one that was somewhat New Jack-ish? So was there not a sense of, okay, are we leaning from that?
Whatsoever. Those are my friends, by the way. So I was certainly not going to be. And plus, I came in the door through that. I certainly wasn't going to go back. That would be like going backwards to me because I came in through Club Nouveau and that whole thing. So I was definitely trying to do a new thing when I did my thing at that point. That's 4 years later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was just my time to do me is to be the best way for me to describe it. And that's exactly what it sounds like.
At the time that you did that, where you finished the album, did you think this is going to be a smash, or what was your thoughts? Could you tell?
No, not at all. I didn't like the album cover. I didn't like the logo. I was like, and then the first video was cool, but I hated the videos to Week. Was horrible. I was like, why are they trying to sabotage my girls? This is bad. But you know what? The power of the songs themselves saved them and literally took them into the stratosphere. When I'm Swimming to You broke, I think that was really, really like a shot across the bow to the whole industry. Like, it's a new girl in town, some new girls in town, and they have whole different styles and voices it's their own thing. Mm-hmm. And we certainly knew it wasn't Mary, and they knew it wasn't In Vogue, and they damn sure knew it wasn't TLC. So it was like, who is this?
Yeah.
When she said, boy, there you go. It was like, whoa, what's going on? You feel me? And so, and I wrote all that. Like, that's just like right out of my head into her voice. That was the beautiful thing about the relationship. It was like, I could sing it and she could sing it back to me.
Yeah.
Verbatim. So that was how it worked. You know what I mean? It was like channeling. Really, for me and Coco. I would do it as it was supposed to be done. She could do it and mimic it, and that's it. That's how it worked. On Week, all of them. She sang every single ad lib on my demo. I did all the ad libs the way that they were supposed to be on the demo.
Wow.
There's no improv.
But how much? And I don't know, when you guys, before you got signed with RCA, did you guys, when to perform, was it always Cheryl singing lead and the rest of you doing the background, or did you guys mix around with different songs prior to being signed?
Well, no, it wasn't like that. It was like that when we finally got the deal. Like, and even like demo wise, we were all just kind of collaborate. But Jodeci was out.
Okay, yeah.
Jodeci was out, and it was just a lot of dope singers. Guy was hot,
Yeah,
and everybody was singing like with that churchy sound.
yeah.
So it just made sense. It just made sense. It didn't help us any, but I mean, it did. But I'm just saying, like, you know, for people to walk around and think you just have no talent or whatever, that's like a bad feeling. But you know, it worked. It was how it was supposed to be at the time, and that was that.
Yeah.
I can't really. I mean, I can't answer it from a producer standpoint or the record label standpoint, but I can tell you from my perspective.
Yeah. As I said, I'd always had reservations with intro. I love body and intro. Same thing with Cut Close. Even not Guy, because they did mix it around a little bit. Teddy and Aaron would share stuff, but my worry and fear was always if the lead singer, loses the voice, or like Tony in High Five, it makes everyone else vulnerable. But I do wonder though, in those early days, is that if they just said, "Yep, we just want to have Cheryl sing and stuff," they're like, "Wow, we're just in the studio." Do you, in the first album, I'm thinking, do you then question, or you're just like, "Wow, we're just in a recording studio," and it doesn't even, you don't think about it?
I don't even think they was thinking that far ahead, because record companies don't care. They don't care. They don't care how something makes you feel. They don't care about your emotions. They don't care about how people are going to look at you, or how, their decision is going to affect the brand as a whole. They don't care. They just about making a record and making it great and making money. That's what it was. No one gives a damn about you. No.
But how was it for you? Because I think a lot of it is, when we're reflecting, is I have no idea what it'd be like for yourself then, because we all know that you guys are all individual singers, so you wouldn't just be the background singer. But what was it like? How did you manage? How did you balance and not actually think Cheryl was the villain, make her the villain? How did you manage that, especially being young?
No, I didn't think she was the villain. Why you say that?
No. I'm not saying. You know how it is when if someone gets the spotlight, and as I said, how it can be easy.
This is what I think. I think it determines how bad you want. You got to figure out, when you're in a situation and you come in as a team, you have to figure out what is it that you want to get out of this. For me, it was never about spotlight. It was never about, I want to be the famous one. I just wanted to do something that worked for the three of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, and it's not even about that with me now. Like, I'm barely on social media. I barely know how to work an iPhone. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about that for me. I'm not out there, taking bikini pics and photos all over the place. I don't care. That's not what it's about for me today. You know what I mean? But, the sad part about it is that the audience, they gain a perception of who they think you are based on what we show them. And that's been a story, so it's too late to change it now.
Yeah. No, but then, because as I said, my favorite show used to be Behind the Music on VH1, and a lot of times bands, especially rock bands, would break up because the lead singer probably wrote all the songs, and or something like that, or Spotlight. But it's important to hear that, you know, back in those days, I guess you guys saw the bigger picture and knew that, you know, being one despite everything was probably the best way to succeed.
I will say this, you cannot help when you're amazing. Okay? I knew she was amazing. That's why I called her. So it's just when you get in this business, people try to sow these seeds of discord and try to make it seem like it's something that it's really not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I will put Miss Cheryl Elizabeth Gamble next to the best of them. Okay? It is almost 30 years later, and I still feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
What she presented, what she gave was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And still do things that's amazing. I just wanted an opportunity to be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah.
But no one nurtured my amazing. No one nurtured my gift. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you start to doubt yourself. You start to, something that you've been doing forever, that you've always been confident doing, you all of a sudden come into this space where no one even cares.
Wow.
So you grow up and you realize that you can't always wait for people to tell you that you're amazing. You have to feel it. You have to believe it. You know, and today, nobody can tell me shit. I am fucking amazing. Period.
Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, to press the notification bell so that you can be notified when we do have a new interview. Loads to come, but thanks a lot for watching.
You know.
I begin to